What is up, guys? Got you here with another Dragon Ball Sparking Zero discussion video, and we're going to be talking about the release of the new patch. I played the game after the patch's release for a while, and I can honestly say that it made Dragon Ball Sparking Zero a much better game. So let's go ahead and talk about the things that made it better. Let's see what they patched. So the first thing that I was always talking about was adding an intro skip button. They actually listened and did that. Both players agrees to press the skip button. You go right into the fight, and that's absolutely amazing because that saves a lot of time, because there are some interactions that just take up so much freaking time. So I'm glad they actually added that. After playing the game for a while, I feel as though the online connectivity for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero has improved, because the game seemed to respond better after the patch. Because before the patch, Z vanishes were very difficult to pull off oftentimes, especially when I ran into somebody that had an internet connection that was not compatible with my own, and the timing for Z vanishes were extremely different than it would have been if you were playing offline. So I actually managed to Z vanish out of smash attack juggles, like when you're getting knocked around in the air. So I feel as though the online, it's actually a bit more responsive now, which is a huge plus. Next thing I want to talk about is how they nerfed After Image Strike. What they did was they reduced the time to 10 seconds. And not only that, they made it where if somebody uses Perception while After Image Strike is active, it automatically shuts off After Image Strike, which is absolutely amazing, because that is what made After Image Strike so broken. Because before the patch, people could use After Image Strike and Perception at the same time. Pretty fudging busted. Next thing that they nerfed is Instant Sparking, and that is another welcome addition, because that forces people to be more strategic about it, and they can no longer just use it back to back. So here's how they fixed this. Bardock has the most broken one in the game because his Instant Sparking automatically activates. So they made it 5 skill points. Definitely a welcome addition there. While all the other characters, it takes 4 skill points in order to activate it, because theirs takes time to charge. So you have an opportunity to stop them from activating it. That is much better, I gotta say. I mean, of course, I feel like Insta Sparking, if you interrupt an Insta Spark, I mean, they should automatically lose their skill points, but I mean, that's just a thing that I always talked about, but is whatever. I'm glad they made the move, so that makes it a lot better, regardless of how I feel. Very good improvement. Another thing that they nerfed is the Ki Blast Rush, because when you go into Instant Sparking, you're able to just shoot a rapid succession of Ki Blasts, and that was super broken, because once somebody catches you, they can lock you in. Like, there's nowhere you can go after that. So imagine if you're locked in and somebody is using an unblockable, a character that has an unblockable ultimate. Well, you're practically screwed. So I mean, it's a very welcome addition. So how they did this was they basically increased the cooldown between the rapid succession. So you can't constantly just spam it anymore. And Ki Blast Rush was one of those things that was used as a sure way to counter After Image Strike. So now that After Image Strike is now nerfed, they also wanted to make sure to nerf the ability to use Ki Blast Rush, and that is a welcome addition, especially when you're up against characters that uses unblockable ultimates. Next thing I want to talk about is the Z-Dash. The Z-Dash costs more ki. Now, I was on the fence about it at first, because of the fact that the Z-Dash was such a good tool to stop people that over relied on instant sparking. But since instant sparking has been nerfed, it's not that big a deal. It's actually a welcomed addition, in my opinion, because that forces people to be more strategic when they're going to use it. It encourages better key management, and everyone isn't just mindlessly trying to Z-dash at each other all the time. People have to be more careful with their Z-dashes, and that leaves room for more neutral gameplay, which is more than welcome when it comes to a game such as this. Giants has also been nerfed. The damage has been lowered, and the shoulder charge that they have is no longer unblockable, so you can actually block it if they attempt to hit you with that. So that is more than a welcome addition for people that had trouble dealing with Giants. I'm in a couple of discords that talk a lot about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and I heard that those busted supers like Galactic Donut is no longer super fast. So that may explain why you don't see that many Bootanks anymore, because I haven't seen any Bootanks in a while when I was playing. I haven't encountered one, so it must be true. The revenge counter has been buffed. So now it only requires one skill point to use revenge counter, and revenge counter is a really good tool to help you when dealing with instant sparking situations, but you also have to be aware of how many skill points the other person could have, because they can also counter your revenge counter. So it just adds a little layer of strategy, and then it also forces people to think about what they're going to do. Are they going to save their skill points to use a strong skill, or are they going to use those skill points to save themselves from getting damaged? So I mean, that's a welcomed addition. Another welcome change is the fact that Android 19 and Dr. Gero has been nerfed, and this is coming from an Android 19 main because, of course, it's no secret that everyone likes to throw shade at people that main Android 19 for obvious reasons. You know, and when they do those dashes, when they go up and down and all of that, they don't lose any key, so they're able to abuse the living shit out of that, and I understand that. So I mean, I'm glad they did it. Not only that, they also nerfed the grab, so you can truly say using Android 19 and Dr. Gero actually requires more skill now, because there's nothing to really abuse. Of course, the grab does help them, but that's one of the main things that they have. Is the grab. Not only that, the false courage has been nerfed. It requires 2 skill points now. And a lot of people is used to dealing with false courage anyway, but for those people that found it broken, hey, that helps, right? Now people cannot use false courage anytime that they want to. They have to be more strategic with how they use it. So I'm glad they did it, me being an Android 19 man. So yeah. Another fix that they did, which I'm glad they did, was they fixed the damn Z search, because the Z search was terrible. There have been many times characters would be in my line of sight and I still can't see them. And every second counts when it comes to Sparking Zero, because it can be very costly. Especially when you're running into someone that over relies on that skill, because that skill is constantly ruining your own momentum, which could give them an edge or just put them in some kind of advantageous situation. So I'm glad they fixed the Z search, because that shit was very annoying. Because of all of these fixes, people are actually throwing hands more frequently instead of just sitting there relying on some busted skill or ultimate or super. And that's what makes this patch, well, super, because people are actually fudging throwing hands. I mean, of course, you're going to run into people that's going to try to stall so they could use some busted skill. But the fact of the matter is, a lot more people are throwing hands now, and that just makes playing the game far more enjoyable for me, and I'm sure for many others that wants to see a game where people actually have to play the game. Very good job, Bandai Namco and Spike. Very, very good start, and I'm looking forward to see what they do in the near future. So if you have anything you would like to share about your experience, and if you feel that there's some things that they can still improve on, hey, go ahead and share that in the comments section below, and also be sure to leave a like and subscribe for more Dragon Ball Sparking Zero content. Be blessed, and I look forward to seeing you in the near future, whether it's a video or a live stream. I can't wait to see you. Peace and God bless.